Alright, we're here with first of our two remaining matches with Native to Lights. I'll keep the one lander. It is kind of comical though that you can have a essentially 30 mana source deck and only somehow have one in your opening hand. Log in. Yep, this hand doesn't cast anything, so I'll again. Try it, put back. That and Kaya's go for now. Island in to consider. Take a risk that our opponent has movement on their deck and just kind of jam here. This means that if our opponent happens to be on Murktide, we'll at least be able to Lightning Helix whatever their first play is. Though Murktide doesn't usually run Consider, so I'm kind of confused what's going on over there. Could still be Murktide, I suppose, but it's very unusual for them to main phase Consider. Okay, looks like it's... I mean, it can't be Rhinos, because Consider wouldn't be in their deck, so... Looks like it's Murktide, maybe Blue-Red X-Breach. And this does leave us very vulnerable to Blood Moon, but I guess I'm okay with that outcome. Okay, now I understand what we're up against and why they haven't done a bloody thing since... Twiddle Storm. Yeah, I did not put them on Twiddle Storm, so... So this is a deck that tries to empty its library in one turn usually. This could just be a value Twiddle Storm, but Grasp, Okay. Okay. Blue. Go and play Omnath here. Okay. So they're very vulnerable to Chalice on one. Mm-hmm. Not sure what they would have wished for here. It could very well be getting acclimated to the deck, so I see. Could have obviously gotten something there, but the heck could we even get with Bring the Light game one? I believe it gets haste when it comes into play. Okay, what can we even wish for here? Guess we get Dargon to close out the game as quickly as possible. Okay. Mm-hmm. Teleria West for what? This opponent's got Teleria West. One unknown in their hand. Two unknowns. Our opponent 6. Ultimate Ren. Alright, so 4 copies of Chalice coming in. 2 copies of Unmarred Ego coming in. Force of Vigor probably coming in. Kaya's go probably coming in. Lightning Helix can go down. So Stern Dismissal. Turn target creature or enchantment opponent controls to its owner's hand. Can't go down too many of our win cons, so think we keep it on the back of Chalice of the Void. Mm-hmm. Pass. Okay. So this is a tricky deck to master, or opponent's deck that is. But I have seen people that know how to play the deck do very particularly well with it, so. Mm-hmm. Does allow us the Force of Vigor and Force of Vigor and Leyline Binding this turn. You're just gonna jam the One Ring. What the point of shocking that in was, but kind of feel bad, but at the same time, after the trouncings that I took at the hands of the 2 tempo decks on Sunday, I don't feel terribly bad for doing this to another deck. Engineer explosives would be kind of annoying. Seiju. Basic forest. That was kind of dumb. Yeah, that was dumb, but oops. Okay. Get basic island here. Let's see. Who indoors? Okay. It's got a pretty stock list. Huntscoops finally. Alright, match 2 after almost 20 minutes in queue, which is just kind of crazy. So we're on the draw. This hand has turn 1 Basic Forest or some other Shockland, turn Utopia Sprawl, turn 2 Ren, grab Shockland. We'll try it. I mean, this hand has explosive potential, but also gets blown to heck if Ren or Utopia Sprawl gets answered, and we're up against Burn. Okay. So dupe. This hand isn't the best against Burn, and we're going to take a fair amount of damage here from our opener. We have to fetch Shock it. Either Stomping Ground naming white or grab name red. Want our opponent to tap out at some point. Wait, they're attacking Ren? Sure. So deal with Boiling Vortex. Cast each opponent's X creature, gain 4 life. Black, white. So that was their draw this turn. Okay, so Basic forest. Blue. Teferi. Should have held on to the fetch land, actually. Opponent didn't sacrifice their Sunbit Canyon either? Sure. Go to 7. Black, green. I think this is clearly a Bring the Light for Omnath turn. Cast Omnath. Draw a card. Gain some life. Mm-hmm. So what are the odds? Okay, so put Jiggy with it in my hand. Just basic mountains. Finally sacrifice the Sunbit Canyon. That's certainly scary. So we'll do that. Red, white, black, green. We basically have 1,000 different ways to end the game now, so. So black, white, red. we still have instant speed. Slaughter your world. Alright. So burn can be a bit of a tricky matchup. We definitely want these guys. Illusionorn can go out. One copy of Ren can go out. Any of the rest, like Chalice makes some amount of sense, but we really just want our life gain online. Illusionorn does nothing. Still having access to Giganta is nice. These ones really do nothing. Maelstrom Pulse is okay. So we'll try it. Like, Burn's one of those matchups where you could theoretically bring in all your chalices, you could, yeah, bring in your Maelstrom Pulses, but we'll try it. It's got decent mana and removal spell on 2, so. Question is how to set up the mana. So this could get either Jeskai or Grixis. Then that we have a Leyline Binding untapped for on 2. A lot of it depends on what they play here. Nothing. Okay, so it's presumably got Bolt here. They have nothing. Okay. Guess theoretically they could have Wear Tear here. I feel like that's the only thing here that could be representing that I remotely care about. There's no other reason to fetch Shock there. Curious if they continue to go after Ren like they did last game. Yep, at least they're consistent. Sacrifice creature, gain full life. Okay, Goblin God. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's kill this cat here. Okay, it cost me 1 white, so this game's pretty much over. We just gotta win, basically. Sure. Okay, get basic mountain here. Boop. Get basic island. Mm-hmm. Hold on the land. Sure. It's kind of what I expected them to have, honestly. So. Alright, got the 3-2, so we got the 3-2, so, despite the rough start to the league on Sunday with, a great, kind of epic match against Amulet, and then kind of getting spike dived by, is it Murktide and Bant Flash, for lack of a better term? Bant Snowblade, whatever the heck you want to call it. Kind of exhibited some of the weaknesses of the deck. It is a slow, clunky mid-range deck that doesn't have a whole lot of counterplay against counterspells. So, decks like Blue-White are going to be absolute miserable. Unless you can sneak into Teferi. Decks like Murktide can be tricky matchups. Probably Rhinos. I've only ever played, I think, Rhinos maybe once, at least in the last, since we brought the deck out of Mothballs. And I definitely horribly misplayed that matchup, especially game 2. I built the removal suite to beat Burn, because it was a deck that, despite playing, some number of Kai's Guiles, some number of Lightning Helixes in the main, a deck that I did lose to. The deck is slow and clunky, but we do have 3 Helixes, 4 Kai's Guiles, 3 Omnaths, plus 3 Bring the Lights. I play all this life gain for a reason, and it's decks like Burn. Twiddle Storm, honestly, our opponent kind of got unfortunate or didn't play particularly well game 1. And then game 2, we just kind of had this almost absurd amount of hate for unfair decks of different varieties. The 4 Chalices, really played a key role in that one. Unmoored Ego also kind of played a role by getting rid of Boseiju. It's not the prettiest or the flashiest deck, and Lord knows it can take forever to win matches sometimes, but the deck is reasonable so far. I have to go back and look at some of the older matches with the deck before I put it in Mothballs last June, but we're 1-1 against Murktide so far. I think we've beaten Domain Zoo like twice. I think we're 2-0 against Burn. I really haven't played against a lot of the tier stuff. I've played against, obviously, Amulet earlier this league. We've played against, like, Tron before and such, so all those have felt reasonable matchups, especially in the post-board configs. The main deck, I really haven't seen too much of a reason to mess with the main deck, other than, obviously, kind of tweaking the mana base a little bit. Trying to get the exact right balance of this untap lands, etc. We do have 26 lands, which is a lot. We do have 4, 8, 11 cantrips in the deck. Elishorn can obviously kind of double up on that. We don't really have any like overwhelming card advantage like the One Ring. Unfortunately, with Bring the Light, we don't really have the ability to search for something like that. Now, if some way, somehow, we were to tweak this deck and make it like black base, we could do maybe something like Beseech the Mirror, and but that just feels like too far out of left field for what this deck is doing. But we do get to leverage Ren, we do get to leverage Teferi Time Raveler, Omnath. Just feels like it's going to be here for a while. I know they announced it's probably going to be after this video or before this video comes out, but they announced there's going to be some type of BNR on Monday the 11th. Remains to be seen kind of how that'll affect the format, if there's any bans or restricteds. I don't know if there's anything like terribly egregious right now. Like obviously the Cascade decks are a huge portion of the format, but it feels like any like top tier deck's going to be a huge portion of the format. So Modern has gotten kind of grindy and weird, so I don't know if they'll make any changes. I honestly thought they were going to hold off. If they do make any changes, I honestly thought they were going to hold off until at least MH3, but maybe they feel there's enough data now to do something about Rhinos and Living End, potentially either reworking the Cascade mechanic or dealing with something like Violent Outburst finally. Still leaves Yawgmoth and Amulet in kind of a dangerous position if they do that. As far as the different cards, like the tweaks to the mana base were fine. We'll probably let that ride for another league. Yasharn really didn't come in on Scan, though. We didn't really play against Yawgmoth this league. And Maelstrom Pulses, other than Amulet, there weren't really any matchups where this would have mattered. And even in that matchup, we could have blown up multiple Amulets. We could have blown up, different things like that. So it's not Vindicate, but it certainly was serviceable in this league. Unmortigo continues to be fine. The rest of the sideboards all kind of proved its mettle. One card I might be interested in trying over something like Brotherhood's End, just as like kind of a weird catch-all, is like what is his name? Devious Cover-Up, I think it is. That's the one thing with playing a weird deck like this, right? Is you get to play these like weird bullets. No, Devious Cover-Up's not the one. Pioneer. So Demir Control, where are you? Deadly Cover-Up, not Devious Cover-Up. So this card, as additional cost, this spell you may collect evidence 7. Destroy all creatures. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard, then search its owner's graveyard, hand, library for any number of cards with the named card, exile it. This player shuffles, then draws a card. So the thought process with this is, there are certain things, if you blow them up, like Murktide, stealing Ragavan from their deck, etc., might be relevant, and maybe we could even shave on a copy of Unmortigo. Does feel, 5 mana obviously very expensive, and Brotherhood's End has been relevant, against some of the artifact decks. Granted, we haven't seen a ton of them, but we still have the 2 Force of Vigor, we still have the 2 Besagis, we still have the 4 Leyline Bindings, so it's not like I'm leaving myself completely defenseless, plus Maelstrom Pulse, so I might be interested just in continuing to tweak and test the list. Do I think it's the perfect card for the format? No, but when you're not playing a deck like this, to not toy with just some weird stuff every now and again to see how it plays out. But yeah, if you like modern content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you like Niv content, don't forget to smash that like button, give us a follow. Hope to see you for our next video.